and welcome to the World Numismatic News as we explore 100 of the world's most valuable coins. Jumping straight in at number 100, we have an English gold florin, or more specifically, a double leopard of Edward III, minted in 1344. Now, contrary to popular belief, these are not England's first gold coins. That honor is widely believed to fall on the gold penny of 20 pence, minted nearly 100 years prior under the reign of Henry III, an example of which was sold in 2021 for $720,000. The coin was only minted for a matter of months when it was discontinued, and today only 4 examples are known to have survived. It was last sold publicly in 2006 for $680,000. The coin was, however, sold again via private treaty in 2016 to become a part of the Tyrant collection. The sale price was not disclosed at that time, but sources close to the sale reported that it is without a doubt the most expensive English coin in history. Were it to appear at auction again today, it is likely to sell for anywhere up to 10 times the previously stated amount. From there, we can view one of the greatest numismatic symbols of the Restoration in Great Britain following the return of the monarchy as Charles II reclaimed the throne in 1660. A milled-proof patterned crown struck in brilliant gold dated 1662, graded by NGC as MS63 Cameo. This coin was sold in 2021 for $780,000. Now, before William Wyan became known for his ingenious coin designs as master of the Royal Mint, with coins like the Una and the Lion and the Gothic crowns, he produced several pattern coins around the Great Recoinage of 1816. This is one of the more celebrated of those designs, the Three Graces, struck here in gold and graded by NGC as Proof 62 Ultra Cameo. This coin sold in Japan during 2018 for $807,000. Following that is our first US coin, the 1802 Proof Novedel or Restrike Draped Bust dollar coin, with this one dated 1802. These restrikes were most likely struck by the Philadelphia Mint in the early to mid 1870s, and are the very distant cousins, if you will, of the 1804 dollar coins. An example graded as Proof 65 Cameo by PCGS was sold at auction in 2008 for $920,000. Then we have an ancient Roman coin of tremendous historical significance, a gold aureus coin bearing the lifelike portrait of Marcus Brutus, whose name William Shakespeare did forever immortalize with the phrase et tu, Brute, in his play of Julius Caesar. The coin also bears the name of another co-conspirator in the plot to murder Caesar, Casca Longus, whom the German painter Karl von Pillity in his turn immortalized in his painting The Murder of Caesar. This coin was sold in 2015 for the equivalent of approximately $930,000. A tremendous rarity within the Half Eagle series as a whole, let alone the singling out of the capped head designs, as only 2 examples of this coin have been discovered to date, and this despite the fact that the 1825 over 4 coin is one of the more obvious overdate coins you are likely to encounter. In 2016, the finer of the 2 known specimens was sold at auction for $940,000. The next offering is one of the most critical issues within the California Gold Rush era. The coins of the firm Moffett & Company were widely accepted as they not only closely resembled the regular federal issues of the day, but were also trusted to have been struck from a reliably accurate gold content each time. A specimen dated 1852 of the wide date variety was sold at auction in 2014 for $940,000. Our first coin from the Roman-Jewish War is up next, in the form of a gold Roman aureus coin bearing the image of Titus. The inscription of Judea de Victor indicates a great Jewish defeat, or that Judea is conquered, as it is agreed that this coin stems from the traveling imperial mint around the year 70, a full 3 years before the rebellion was fully quelled by the Romans. This inscription likely refers to the siege of Jerusalem and the destruction of the Second Temple in that same year. This tremendous coin was sold in 2012 for $956,000. And then we have one of the only surviving numismatic relics of the American Civil War to represent the Southern Confederate States of America. In 1861, a seated Liberty half-dollar coin struck at the New Orleans Mint that bears the Confederate States' coats of arms. And this is one of the only 4 such coins known. This one was graded by NGC as Proof 40 and was sold in 2017 for $960,000. Now, as it is struck to the exact weight of a 5-pound coin, this 1831 gold crown pattern is oftentimes mistaken to be a quintuple sovereign instead. With William Wyand's skill as a master engraver on full display for all to see, there are only an estimated 6 to 10 of these coins known to exist. Graded by NGC as Proof 66, this brilliant coin was sold in 2020 for $963,700. Before the US Mint could officially get underway, minting the nation's first coins, patterns had to be created to test the machinery, to make decisions about final design choices, and so forth. One such pattern coin was this 1792 silver dime that was minted on an unusually thin planchet. Today, only 2 such coins are known to exist, with this one achieving $998,750 at auction in 2015. This coin was struck around 2 years before Alexander the Great arrived in the Messenian city of Abydos during his legendary conquest of the known world. A unique coin of extremely underrated importance, featuring a masterful rendition of Artemis, as Abydos was a major seat of the cult of Artemis at that time. Sold in 2010 for €770,589, or just about the equivalent of under $1 million at that time. And then we can showcase one of the most renowned rarities in Chinese numismatics, the 1911 silver long-whiskered dragon pattern dollar coin, a coin which is oftentimes missing from even the most important and complete collections of Chinese coins. This example was graded by PCGS as SP64 and sold in 2021 for $1,020,000. Now, the fabled 1879 coiled hair $4 gold stellar coins are legendary for their rarity, with estimates of no more than 12 to 15 coins existing today in all grades. Now, rather for domestic use, these stellars were instead intended as an international medium of exchange. Here we see an example graded as NGC Proof 66 Cameo that sold at auction in 2019 for $1,050,000. A part of the experiments of 1792 mentioned a bit earlier included the mint experimenting with reeded and plain edge designs on the dimes. Now here is a Judd 11 example struck in copper with a plain edge, one of only 3 such coins that are known, graded by NGC as MS64 red brown to sell in 2015 for $1,057,500. The silver dollar was the first coin to bear the draped bust design in 1795, and there is some speculation that this might even have been the very first one of those coins struck, given that it is the only example that has received the specimen designation from PCGS, formerly known as the Garrett Proof 1795 drape bust dollar, graded by PCGS as SP66. It was last sold at auction in 2016 for $1,057,500. In the early 1850s, the United States Assay Office in California operated, in effect, as a de facto mint. In the years before that, the San Francisco Mint could officially start operations in 1854. The Assay Office was operated under the supervision of Moffett and Company, with Augustus Humbert acting as assayer. This Humbert $10 piece is an example of one of these coins. From the Eric Newman collection, it was graded as MS68 by NGC and sold at auction in 2013 for $1,057,500. The 1870s Seated Liberty Silver Dollar is a coin that is absent from all relevant mint records. It is uncertain how many of these were actually minted, and today we know of only 12 coins that can be positively identified, including one coin that was sealed into the cornerstone of the San Francisco Mint building and is probably still there to this day. In 2003, an ungraded, brilliant uncirculated coin was sold at auction for $1,092,500. The mere fact that the State Historical Museum in Moscow does not include a copy of this 1808 half ruble from the reign of Alexander I should be a clear indication of its true rarity. It is also conspicuously missing from the even most great collections of Russian coins throughout the years. This copy sold in 2013 at auction for roughly $1,104,000. And now for our second coin from the First Jewish Revolt, this time from the Jewish perspective instead of from the Roman one. This is an ancient silver shekel coin from the First Jewish-Roman War, likely struck by the rebel Jewish mint in Jerusalem around the year 66, as the inscription indicates its creation near the beginning of the rebellion. Today, only 2 examples of this coin are known to have survived, the last sold publicly in 2012 for $1,105,375. And then for something a little bit different, as we see arguably the world's most famous medal, a Nobel Peace Prize awarded to the Argentinian Carlos Saavedra Lamas in 1936 for his contributions to the peace negotiations between Paraguay and Bolivia in that same decade. To see an authentic Nobel Peace Prize medal sold publicly is exceptionally rare, and this one was offered in 2014 when it sold for $1,116,250. The half-cent coin was a strange denomination, as when it was conceived, it made perfect sense. The problem was, however, that in actual commerce, it was simply not really in demand, and it was minted only sporadically as a result throughout the 1800s. After this coin was released in 1811, there would be a 14-year gap until we would see it again in 1825. This PCGS graded MS66 red-brown example was sold in 2014 for $1,121,250. Our second Russian coin is the very famous family ruble of Nicholas I of 1835. In reality, a 1.5 ruble or 10 zlotych coin in denomination and not actually a ruble. There were only 36 coins minted featuring Tsar Nikolai on the obverse and his wife Alexandra Fyodorovna on the reverse, surrounded by the portraits of their 7 children. This fantastic rarity of the Russian catalog was sold at auction in 2015 for the equivalent of about $1,130,000 US. 1884 is without any doubt the second rarest trade dollar from the US Mint. We'll see the rarest a little bit later on in this video too. There are only 10 coins known to exist, and much of the history of this coin was shrouded in mystery for most of its early history. This example, the Brand Eliasberg specimen, was graded as proof 66 by NGC and sold at auction in 2019 for $1,140,000. And by far the most valuable half-cent coin on this list is from 1794. Only the second year of regular production for this, one of America's earliest coins. It only saw a mintage of 81,600 coins, very few of which managed to survive to this day. In 2014, a PCGS graded MS67 red-brown example was sold at auction for $1,150,000. Our second coin from 1796, but this time it is an incredibly well-preserved example of a 1796 silver dollar, despite recording a mintage figure of 79,920 coins delivered in that year. David Bowers has suggested that most of these coins may have been dated 1795 instead, which would go a long way to explaining the actual rarity of this coin in the marketplace today. NGC has graded this coin as MS65, which saw it achieve $1,175,000 at auction in 2013. Now, in terms of absolute rarity for half eagles, probably only the unique 1797 16-star reverse can outdo the 1798 small eagle gold $5, of which only 6 coins are known to exist. The coin is a mystery, as the small eagle reverse design was in fact last used on half eagles in 1795. And yet, here it is, a coin dated 1798 instead, sold in 2015, graded as AU58 by PCGS for $1,175,000. The Nova Constellatio patterns were conceived as an early attempt to consolidate the monetary systems of the divergent 13 original colonies into a single cohesive medium of exchange for the new United States of America, immediately following the conclusion of the War of Independence. This is one of those extremely rare 1783 silver patterns known as a quint, representing 500 base federal units, graded by PCGS as AU53. It sold at auction in 2013 for $1,175,000. In previous generations, the 1866 no-motto dollars were called transitional errors or even pattern coins. Today, however, the evidence points in the direction of fantasy coins, or perhaps more politely stated, restrikes, created intentionally at the mint in later years to be sold for profit. Only 2 of these no-motto coins are known to exist, and in 2021, a PCGS graded Proof 63 Plus example was sold at auction for $1,050,000. Now, likely the rarest sovereign in the entire British Empire series is the 1920 Australian sovereign from the Sydney Mint. With only 4 coins known to exist, it is rarer still than even the 1819 or the South African 1923 sovereigns. It has been called the greatest gold rarity of the British Empire. In 2015, the former Bentley collection specimen was sold at auction for the equivalent of $1,235,000 US. One of the most fascinating patterns of 1792, and in fact one to which a great deal of research has been dedicated, is the eagle on globe quarter dollar pattern. Seen here struck in white metal, it is one of only 4 examples known to exist, of which only 2 are currently in private hands. Graded as AU58 by NGC, this coin sold in 2021 for $1,260,000. The Bigfoot dollars, in this case a $10 coin, attempted to solve largely the same problem as the stellar $4 coins were meant to address, to create a coin capable of being used in international trade. This experiment, much like the stellars, was unfortunately a non-starter, and today only 2 of these gold $10 pieces are known to exist to remind us of what might have been. Graded as PCGS Proof 65 Deep Cameo, this coin sold at auction in 2010 for $1,265,000. In 1795, a small number of 1-cent pieces were struck to the later weight standard of 168 grams, and were also given a reeded edge as an experiment. The reeding is similar to that found on the silver and gold coins of that era. Today, about 9 such coins have been discovered, and in 2009, a PCGS graded BG10 example was sold for $1,265,000. Our next coin is a modern issue from the Chinese commemorative series, celebrating Chinese inventions and discoveries. This 1992 1 kilogram gold 2,000 yuan, which only had a mintage of 10 coins, celebrates the invention of the compass during the Han Dynasty period. Certified by NGC as Proof 69 Ultra Cameo, it sold at auction for $1,298,000. When the San Francisco Mint began operations in 1854, it concentrated chiefly on producing gold coins to serve the needs of the California gold fields. Now, in 1855, the $3 Indian Princess was added to the lineup, and it seems that a single proof coin may have been minted to celebrate that occasion. Today, it remains the only known proof example of an 1855 gold $3. Graded by NGC as Proof 64 Cameo, it sold at auction in 2011 for $1,322,500. It is thought that there are 4 1833 capped head proof half eagles in existence. Of those, this coin is by far the most storied and the finest known as well, with a provenance dating back to the sale of the Pittman collection in 1890. The coin once belonged to King Farouk of Egypt. Mind you, that's not the only coin on this list that belonged to King Farouk, but more on that later. Graded as PCGS Proof 67, it last sold at auction for $1,351,250. Another tremendous rarity of the Russian catalogue is seen now, a spectacular 1807 ruble pattern of Alexander I. The only other known example is housed in the Hermitage Museum, and that coin has a lettered edge, whereas this coin has a smooth edge instead. Last sold in 2014 for the equivalent of approximately $1,360,000. A Russian ruble pattern coin from 1886 struck at the St. Petersburg Mint is next. This coin was struck with the obverse design that was supposedly destroyed after creating only this coin, because, as legend holds it, Tsar Alexander was not, well, shall we say, pleased with his portrait on this coin. Last sold at auction in 2014, where it achieved $1,363,000. A spectacularly opulent gem of the Roman Empire from the rule of Maxentius is found at the number 62 position now. A large gold 8 ori that has more in common with a medallion than a coin itself. Likely awarded to his closest allies to assure their loyalty, it is impeccably preserved to this day. Sold at auction in 2011 for $1,407,550. Few coins in the American catalog are so legendary as the 1792 half-diem coins. These are widely considered as the first federal coin struck for greater distribution or circulation under the Mint Act of 1792, with evidence indicating that they were delivered directly to Thomas Jefferson himself. This coin, the Floyd Star example, sold at auction in 2013 for $1,410,000. Long since established as the rarest of the New Orleans Mint $20, with an initial mintage of only 2,250 coins, the 1856 O Double Eagle poses a daunting challenge for collectors of the series. What we see here is the finest known example of the issue with a grade of PCGS SP63. It sold at auction in 2009 for $1,437,500. Oftentimes lauded as the most beautiful coin within British history, the 1839 Una and the Lion quintuple sovereign stands as a veritable monument to the British Empire at its zenith. The historic reign of Queen Victoria and just British numismatics as a whole. An example graded as Proof 66 Star Ultra Cameo by NGC was sold at auction in 2021 for $1,440,000. Among the first copper coins to be struck by the US Mint were the 1793 chain cents. This Sheldon 1 variety has the curious choice of abbreviating America simply to Ameri. The exact reason for doing this is not exactly clear, but here we have a coin graded MS64 plus brown by PCGS that sold in 2019 for an even $1.5 million. The exact origins of the continental dollar coins remain the subject of some considerable debate to this day, although one school of thought holds that they were commissioned by the Continental Congress following the Declaration of Independence in 1776. This example struck in silver as opposed to the usual pewter coins you might see, and graded by NGC as XF40, was sold at auction in 2014 for $1,527,500. A famous variety of this coin is the so-called E.G. Fesset type, where those letters are included on the design just above the date. The inscription points to the identity of the engraver, meaning that someone with the initials of E.G. made it. Sold at the same auction as the previous coin in 2015, but graded this time as MS62. This silver coin sold for $1,527,500 as well. 1796 was not only the first full year of issue for the quarter eagle coins, but also represents a single year type coin for the small eagle reverse design as well. On top of that, it had a total mintage of only 6,146 coins, which is a rather long-winded way of saying that it is not only scarce, but also an extremely popular coin with collectors today. In 2013, a coin from the Eric Newman collection was sold as graded NGC MS67 Plus for $1,527,500. Our next entry is an exceedingly rare Russian pattern ephemok from the St. Petersburg Mint, dated 1798. Now, what sets this particular coin apart from others is that the edge inscription was impressed multiple times in opposing directions, with the corresponding adjustment marks still showing. Only 2 similar examples are known, and it was last sold in 2015 for $1,540,000. Alright, so maybe I'm cheating just a little bit with this next entry, as this is in fact a set of coins and not just a single coin. However, they are of such monumental importance to Japanese numismatics that I feel they warrant inclusion all the same. A complete set of one of the first pattern coins struck for the new yen-based currency system following the Meiji reforms. The 8-coin set one of only two such known to exist, consists of a 10, 5, 2.5, 1, half, a quarter, a tenth, as well as a 20th yen coins, rated individually by PCGS between SP 65 and 67 across the board. This set was sold in 2021 for $1,560,000. Another valuable Chinese commemorative coin celebrates the 10th anniversary of the popular Panda coin series and depicts each of the annual designs up to that particular point. This massive 10,000 yuan piece is created from 5 kilograms of pure gold, with a maximum mintage of only 10 coins, sold at auction in Japan during 2011 for $1,567,190. Up next is a proof eagle of 1839, a coin with a few different names. The 1839 large letters, or more accurately, the 1839 type of 38, to better differentiate the business strike varieties from one another. Only 3 proof coins, however, like this can be confidently identified, with the Eliasberg specimen sold at auction in 2007, graded as proof 67 Ultra Cameo by NGC for $1,610,000. A spectacular Roman sestetrius from the reign of Emperor Hadrian from around the year 135 or 136 is presented now. When this coin was auctioned in Geneva in 2008, it held the world record price for an ancient coin and absolutely beautifully displays the Hadrianic revival of Greek classicism that so flourished under his rule. Graded by NGC Ancients as Choice AU, it sold for the equivalent of $1,648,805. Time and time again, the 1797 small eagle draped bust half-dollar continues to set records at auction for the world's most valuable half-dollar coin. It did so in 2004 when it sold for $966,000. Again in 2008 for $1.38 million, on then to $1.5 million in 2015, and now again in 2021 when this PCGS graded MS66 coin sold for $1,680,000. The most expensive Lincoln cent coin ever sold is without any doubt the famous 1943 D bronze cent. To this day, only a single example of this wrong planchet era from the Denver Mint has ever been discovered. Today, graded as PCGS MS64 Brown, it sold via private treaty in 2010 for $1.7 million. Although I should mention as well that the same coin was again sold publicly this time in 2021 for $840,000. Still not a bad piece of change for a penny. The most important Greek coin ever sold. That is how the silver tetradrachm from the ancient Greek city-state of Syracuse has been described. Minted around 400 BCE from the dies cut by master engraver Cimon himself. A numismatic monument to ancient Greek society, as important as the Mask of Agamemnon or any statue discovered in the Acropolis or the Pergamon altar itself. Sold in 2019 for around $1,718,000. So of the few coins that are dated 1796 on this list, probably the most sought after is the rare no stars quarter eagle that omits the customary stars on the obverse of the coin. The quarter eagle was not a very successful denomination at first, as it was simply too small for international or institutional trade, but then again it was too large for everyday run-of-the-mill commerce as well. Graded as PCGS MS65, this coin sold at auction in 2021 for $1,725,000. The 1920S Indian head eagle makes for a fascinating case study in conditional rarity, though the coin is scarce in its own right. With an estimated 137 coins left surviving today, there are rarer coins overall, but in conditions of MS64 and above, no gold eagle is scarcer than the 1920S by a long shot. So it came as no real surprise when this PCGS graded MS67 Plus example, the absolute finest coin known, sold at auction in 2007 for $1,725,000. Following that is another gold eagle, but this coin is the only one known of its kind in gold and has a truly fascinating story and history behind it. A suspected pattern coin from 1792 bearing George Washington's portrait. It is even suspected that it was carried by George Washington himself as a pocket piece for some years. Sold at public auction in 2018, authenticated by NGC as XF40 for the sum of $1,740,000. Of the original mintage of 12,400 coins, today only a single example of the 1877 Carson City No Arrows variety dime manages to survive. David Hall once called this coin the greatest unheralded rarity within US numismatics. Today it is graded by PCGS as MS65 and was last sold in 2012 for $1,840,000. Similar to the two $4 gold stellar coins that are on this list, one of which we'll get to see in just a little while. The quintuple stellar or Goloid $20 pattern was born from the same idea to facilitate international trade. Struck from around 30 grams of gold, 1.5 grams of silver, and 3.5 grams of copper, it conformed more closely to the European standard seen in the Latin Monetary Union of that time. One of only 5 such coins known to exist today. This PCGS graded Proof 64 Deep Cameo example was sold in 2016 for $1,880,000. The Hishi Oban struck to the weight of, or well, rather the de facto denomination of 10 ryu, what today would be the equivalent of 165 grams of gold, are the earliest oban from Japan, minted sometime after 1588, and could have very well easily circulated in the early Edo period. Today, only 6 examples of this particular type are still accounted for. The example here was sold in 2021 for $1,920,000. Another legend of the American numismatic scene is the 1894S Barber dime, a coin that took collectors almost 100 years to fully understand and to separate myth from grounded fact. Only 24 of these branchment coins were minted in 1894 by sheer fluke of circumstance, and today we know of 9 coins that still remain. Of those, the Eliasberg example, graded as PCGS Proof 66, was sold in 2016 for $1,997,500. Every now and then, a coin will come along that completely catches everyone off guard. The 1921 Saturn-proof St. Gordon's Double Eagle is just such an example. Only 2 examples have been discovered, and the mint holds no official records of ever striking these coins to this finish. But in 2018, the second known, graded by NGC as Proof 64 Plus, was sold at auction for $2,010,000. As the undisputed lowest mintage coin within the Morgan dollar coin series. With only 100,000 coins struck, it probably shouldn't come as a surprise to find an 1893S Morgan dollar on this list as well, especially when that coin is the finest known example at a grade of PCGS MS67. It sold at auction in 2021 for $2,086,875. Up next is yet another early pre-federal coin from the United States. This is the 1786 Lima-style brasher doubloon, essentially one of the first gold coins struck in the United States, and the handiwork of New York-based silversmith Ephraim Brasher, whose crowning achievement we'll see a little later on this list as well. One of only 2 examples known, it was sold in 2021 for $2.1 million. With a mintage of only 180,000 coins, the 1927 D. St. Gordon's Double Eagle holds the distinction of being the lowest mintage regular issue American coin of the 20th century, as well as being the rarest gold coin of, well, any denomination authorized for circulation. An MS-65 Plus example from PCGS was sold at auction in 2020 for $2,160,000. Much like the 1629 coronation 100 ducat of Ferdinand III, and similarly the 1677 100 ducat piece, this 100 ducat of Zygmunt III Vasa is one of the largest European gold coins ever struck at 70 millimeters or nearly 2.75 inches in diameter. One of only 6 coins known, it sold in 2018 for $2,160,000. Even though the initial mintage of the 1907 rolled edge, or rounded rim as it is also known, Gold Eagle was 31,500 coins, all of those, save for 50 coins, were never released, and as a matter of fact, they were melted down by the mint, supposedly at the insistence of chief engraver Charles Barber. The example seen here was sold at auction in 2011, graded as NGC Proof 67, for $2,185,000. The next coin is a half-ruble pattern piece from the nearly half-century-long rule of Nicholas I. Minted in 1827 at the St. Petersburg Mint, it is excessively rare, to the point where this piece was missing from the famous Russian Museum duplicates auction of 1931. This coin sold in 2013 for $2,268,000. Another Nobel Prize is seen now, but this time it is the 1962 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine awarded to Dr. Francis Crick for his work in discovering the molecular structure of nucleic acids and its significance in information transfer in living material. Essentially, the work leading to the identification of the structure of DNA that has so fundamentally changed our understanding of medicine today. Sold along with the Nobel Diploma in 2013 for $2,270,500. Another example of the eagle on globe $quarter pattern is seen now. This one, however, is struck in copper and is the only known example available to collectors, although a second coin is being curated by the Smithsonian as well. This coin last sold in 2015 for $2,232,500. This is an extremely rare Chinese pattern dollar coin featuring the Chinese warlord and, for a very brief period of time, military dictator Chiang Tzu-lin, from a limited series of patterns that never made it into circulation following his assassination in 1928. Sold in 2021 for $2,280,000. Up next is a numismatic relic of an event that changed history when King Edward VIII abdicated the throne of Great Britain in 1936 in order to marry Wallis Simpson. The Royal Mint had to scramble as they were ready to start striking coins for 1937 bearing his image. This is one of those few surviving examples, a gold £5 coin that declares Edward as king and emperor, sold in 2021 for $2,280,000. Now, not all 1804 draped bust silver dollar coins were created equal, but more on that a little bit later on. This Class 3 coin, for instance, was actually a restrike created at the mint sometime after 1858, specifically to be sold to collectors. These can be identified today with relative ease, and 6 such Class 3 coins are known. This specimen sold in 2009 for $2.3 million. Another 1793 chain cent is on display now, but this time it is the Sheldon 4 variety where the word America is spelled out in its entirety, as opposed to the previous coin where it was inexplicably shortened simply to Ameri. This coin, graded as PCGS MS66 Brown, was sold at auction in 2015 for $2,350,000. The 1808 quarter eagle is the rarest single-type coin within the United States, as the only date where a draped bust quarter eagle was struck for circulation, and even then with a mintage of a meager 2,710 coins. The current example is by far the finest known at a grade of MS65 and sold at auction in 2015 for $2,350,000. When the US branch mint in San Francisco started striking operations in 1854, a small number of coins were struck for each major denomination within the first few days. The 1854 S half eagle was one of those coins and had a total mintage of only 268 coins, only 4 of which are known to have survived. Now, in 2021, one of these coins sold at auction for $2.4 million. From there, we review a Russian gold 20 ruble coin from the reign of the Empress Yelizaveta Petrovna, better known as the Empress Elizabeth of Russia, the daughter of Peter the Great. This coin, dated 1755, features a wonderful cruciform coat of arms on the reverse and was sold in 2008 for $2,454,000. One of the most significant early pattern coins for the United States was the silver center cent of 1792, an attempt to reduce the size of the rather cumbersome copper cent by including a silver plug in the middle towards the value of 3/4 of a cent, in so doing reducing the size of the coin considerably while also maintaining its intrinsic value. Here we have an example graded as PCGS SP67 that sold in 2021 for $2,520,000. Our second coiled hair stellar is presented now, but this time it is the turn of the 1880 gold $4 coin instead. Of course, the 1880 stellars, whether it is the flowing or the coiled hair designs, are considerably scarcer than their 1879 counterparts, but the coiled hair type has a surviving population of only 8 coins, with this example being sold in 2013 for $2,574,000. In 1795, the US Mint finally produced the first circulating gold coins in the federal system. The largest denomination authorized at that particular time was the $10 gold eagle, specifically the capped bust right eagle. These are divided into 2 chief varieties today, the 13 and 9 leaves below eagle types. This is an example of the 13 leaves coin that sold in 2015, graded as MS66 Plus from PCGS for $2,585,000. The last 1792 patent to feature here will be the enigmatic birch cent, specifically the Judd 4 variety that has the "to be esteemed, be useful" edge inscription, of which only 7 coins are known to exist. This brilliant example was sold in 2015 for $2,585,000. And now, entering the top 20, we find one of Russia's most famous coins. The so-called Constantine ruble is technically a pattern coin. Much like the Edward VIII coin seen earlier, Constantine was the heir presumptive when his brother died. But after less than a month, he renounced his claim to the Russian throne in favor of his younger brother in late 1825. And so these coins never actually circulated, what few of them were even created. NGC graded this example as proof 62 and sold it during 2021 for $2,640,000. And now we come to one of the most prized and prestigious coins in antiquity, a Greek coin 2,400 years old from the Sicilian city of Agrigentum, the high watermark in terms of quality from the Agragas mint, to rival any contemporary issue from Syracuse with ease. Sold last in 2012 for about the equivalent of $2,918,000 US. Though it is placed at number 17 on this list, the 1907 ultra-high relief St. Gordon's double eagle is surely deserved of the top 10 spots of the greatest American coins of all time. And based off of its sheer visual appeal alone, there are few coins that can best this great numismatic creation. In 2021, a normal edge letter variety of this particular coin, graded as NGC Proof 68, was sold at auction for $3.6 million. We stick to gold coins for now, but head back to ancient Greece once more, this time for a gold stater from the ancient Greek city of Pantikapaeum, located in the modern-day Crimea on the shores of the Black Sea. An incredibly striking coin dated from around 350 to 300 BCE, an extract from the Prospero collection that was sold in 2012 for approximately $3.8 million at that time. When the Empress Yelizaveta Petrovna seized the Russian throne in a palace coup during 1741, she ordered the infant emperor Ivan VI to be imprisoned and all coins bearing either his name or his image to be seized and destroyed. Today, only about 5 of the 1740 dated silver ruble pieces are known to have survived their purge. Sold in 2012 for what was roughly the equivalent of $3,859,000 US. So earlier we looked at the 1884 trade dollar, and now, as promised, here is the 1885 silver trade dollar instead, which is even rarer with only 5 coins that are known to exist. The finest of these 5 coins that are known is graded as NGC Proof 66 and was sold in 2019 for $3,960,000. In 1899, the Anglo-Boer War was at its absolute height, and Great Britain managed to intercept and confiscate a set of coin dies between Germany and the South African Republic for that year. So, as a response, the South Africans decided to simply use the dies from 1898 instead, and add a 99 on the obverse of the coins to indicate the correct year of mintage. But the first coin struck like this used a number 9 punch that was simply far too large and extended into the design. In short, this today is what is known as the single 9 pond, the only known coin of its type, which was last sold in 2010 for roughly the equivalent of $4 million US. The next coin is a bit of a playful entry, but with a very big price tag. It is the Canadian Big Maple Leaf, a coin with a legal denomination of 1 million Canadian dollars, and was created from 100 kilograms, that's 220 pounds of pure gold. One of these monstrosities was last sold in 2010 for about $4,070,000. It has been called the most historically significant and exalted coin of ancient Rome, and indeed of all of antiquity, the gold Aedmar Aureus coin of Brutus, blatantly celebrating the assassination of Julius Caesar in the year 42 BCE. Only 3 examples of this legendary coin are known to have survived in gold, and in 2020, one of these examples sold at auction for $4,174,950. And as we enter the top 10 coins, there is a classical 20th century American rarity that greets us. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 coins appear to have been struck. It is an instant $1 million coin, regardless of which specimen we discuss or its grade. In 2018, the Eliasberg example, graded as PCGS Proof 66, was sold at auction for $4,560,000, and it was then subsequently sold again via private treaty for a reported $5 million. The 1804 plain 4 gold eagles are directly related to the 1804 silver dollars, in that they were both created specifically for inclusion in diplomatic presentation sets around 1834. But unlike the dollars, only 4 coins appear to have been struck, 3 of which are known to have survived to this day. One example, graded as Proof 65 plus Deep Cameo by PCGS, was sold at auction in 2021 for $5,280,000. The most famous ancient Islamic coin is a gold dinar from the Umayyad Caliphate, struck in the early 8th century in what was today modern-day Saudi Arabia. The inscription in the gold coin even directly points out the location where the gold was mined, sold on several occasions for around 3.7 million British pounds. When it was sold in 2011, that amount came to roughly $6,030,000 US. Now, what at first glance might appear to be an ordinary 1861 double eagle is soon revealed upon closer inspection to be in fact the elusive Paquet 1861 reverse variety instead, where several small design changes were brought about by assistant engraver Anthony Paquet in 1861. Only 2 examples of this coin are known to exist, and in 2021 a PCGS graded MS67 coin was sold for $7.2 million at auction. So a little earlier, you'll remember we looked at the Lima-style New York doubloon, but this time it is the famous Brasher doubloon minted by Ephraim Brasher in New York. The coins are dated as 1787 and are likely the first gold coins to have been struck on American soil and intended for local distribution and circulation. The rare EB on breast variety was sold in 2011 for $7,395,000. Entering the top 5 is a coin we've talked about a few times up until now, the king of American coins, the famous 1804 draped bust silver dollar. This is the Type 1 dollar though, meaning that it was one of the 8 coins created originally in 1834 and not a later restrike of this piece, like the Class 3 or Class 2 coins, for example. The Pogue example, graded as PCGS Proof 68, was sold in 2021 for $7,680,000. The 1822 capped bust left gold eagle is one of those coins that is so incredibly rare that collectors tend to, from time to time, forget just how important it actually is. With only 3 examples known, 2 of which are in the Smithsonian, that leaves only 1 coin available to collectors, last sold in 2021, graded as PCGS AU50 for $8,400,000. So in the third position is again 1787 Brasher doubloon, but unlike the previous example, here Ephraim Brasher chose to place his EB hallmark not on the breast of the eagle, but rather on its left-facing wing instead. Graded by NGC, this coin, with a grade of MS 65 star, was sold at auction in 2021 for an amazing $9,360,000. The first runner-up is a coin that itself held the title of world's most expensive coin for quite a number of years until it was unseated by our next entry, the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, specifically the Neil Carter Cardinal Collection specimen, which is at a grade of PCGS SP66, including a silver plug at its center, which ensured its proper weight. The coin's condition, in fact, leads numismatists to speculate that this might even have been the very first silver dollar ever struck at the newly created US Mint. It was sold at public auction in 2013 for $10,016,875. And then the coin which holds the title as the undisputed most expensive coin in the world is the 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle. Despite around 10 or so of these coins being held by the Treasury in the National Numismatic Collection, only a single coin is legal to own today. That coin came from the palace collection of King Farouk of Egypt. The 1933 gold double eagle was never officially issued for release by the Treasury Department before private gold ownership was effectively made illegal by President Roosevelt in 1933 as a response to the Great Depression. The coin was the subject of a drawn-out and complicated legal battle. This sole example was finally declared as legal to own in 2001. It was last sold in 2021 by Sotheby's auction house for an astounding $18,872,250. So those are 100 of the world's most expensive coins. Now, just to be perfectly clear, this list is by no means completely exhaustive. For example, similar or duplicate issues were all condensed into a single listing. Otherwise, every other listing would be an $1804, a 1907 Ultra High Relief St. Gordon's, or a 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, or something towards that effect. So those coins were all condensed into single listings to allow for a wider variety of coins to make the list instead, which, let's face it, is a little more fun and definitely more interesting anyway. And if you are still watching this video and you've been watching from the very start, then this video was made for you. A special presentation to celebrate the World Numismatic News gaining 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're one of those 100,000 people to click the subscribe button, well, first off, you're awesome, and thank you. Seriously though, thank you. And if you're not subscribed, then you're still watching this, then why not consider hitting the subscribe button too, and activate notifications with the bell icon so you'll know when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching. Stay safe, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.